Hello everyone, in this video John's going to be showing you how he created this dead hedge behind me, answering the questions: what is a dead hedge? How does a dead hedge work? Welcome to John Horsey Horticulture, the channel that's helping you develop your gardening skills, whether you're new to gardening or whether you'd like some tips and advice on anything from propagation, a bit of pest control, how to grow some vegetables and much, much more. If you like learning those things, do take a trip around our channel. John's been teaching horticulture professionally for a very long time now. If you like what you see, do push the subscribe button. That means you're following us, there's no charge. And if you push the notification bell, that lets you know every time we upload a new video.
Morning everybody. Today we're going to have a look at creating what is called a dead hedge. It seems a bit silly, doesn't it? But when you have forestry situations, or even in this case a large garden where we have lots of vegetation coming up, this is a way in which we can actually use it to make a wildlife habitat and possibly even recreate a hedge. It's basically laying dead vegetation on the ground in the shape of a hedge. Here I've got quite a small situation. I've just got this rather untidy fence I want to cover. In a forestry situation, it could be very useful. It could be used for protecting areas like regrowth or even ponds. Of course, it is dead, but hopefully as time goes by, you'll find that the vegetation will grow up through it, and it could well be that if the suitable brambles, suitable thorns and things get into it, it could actually eventually become a living hedge because it's protected by the dead stuff. It's quite important to before you start to look at the ground flora. You don't want to put it on top of something existing which is of interest, like primroses, violets, dog's mercury or anything like that. So make sure the ground is clear anyway. If we didn't get rid of this stuff in this way, nowadays they call it arisings. Brashings, as I used to use when I first came along, but now it's called arisings. In the forestry would bring big machines in, which of course would damage. We've seen some very bad damage in the forestry with the big machines coming in. Not only does that damage the surface, but it damages the mycorrhizal, all that valuable fungus growing in the soil, which plants need to be able to function. They work with it to produce food, and the whole thing is one big system which we want to avoid. The other option, of course, is the question of burning it, and I think most people now would not want to be burning stuff for various environmental reasons as well as just social. You don't want to smoke people out. So this way hopefully will solve all those problems. Right, so here's our situation, and you can see we've got this hedge. This is actually a piece of clematis coming through, which I hope eventually will cover it, and you won't see so much dead stuff. I've got a pile of brashings at the back there, or arisings. That's what I really want to use. Unfortunately, it's laurel. Of course, you know laurel is poisonous, had very cyanide in it. But it's been there for a little while, so hopefully most of it might have broken down by now. Certainly it doesn't smell like fresh laurel does. It's got that cherry smell, which is the cyanide. So hopefully it'll be safe. I've heard of people saying that after a couple of years it is safe to use. It's the poison's gone out, and I've heard of people using the hedge then for insects going in, beetles, especially beetle banks, that sort of thing, and then rodents move in. We do know that there are dormice in this wood, so hopefully that will create something useful for them. Amphibians, birds, all that sort of thing. But whatever it is, it'll look better than this. So let's make a start. Now, what I'm going to do here is I haven't got the room to allow the branches to space right out, so I'm going to put 3 posts along here. And then I'm going to lay the stuff in this, and the posts will hold it upright and hopefully create a nice hedge for me. That's if these snorting dogs don't start me keep getting in the way. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is now put some posts in here just to hold the brashings back. I don't know, like 2 foot apart will be fine, I think. So let's just make a nice hole to get it going in. That's 2, yeah, that'll fit nicely. So here we go, making a nice hole into which it goes. Always useful to use your crowbar to make a nice hole. Do watch your head when you're bringing this up. It's quite a heavy tool to use. Now it's not going to take a tremendous weight, so that should be enough. So we take that one out. We put the piece of hazel in the hole. Push that one back down again. That will be nice and firm. Okay, now the next stage is to get some of the brushings in. I'm cutting through wherever I think there's something which holds it up, because we want the weight to push things down, and when the weight and when the wood's on the ground, it's going to rot quicker. Here's a nice easy piece, that'll go straight in. Nice bit of weight down there. Okay, well here we are, we finished. I put some grassy stuff and a bit of weeds on the top, a bit of soil. Wait to hopefully pack it down a little bit. I wouldn't say it's the most attractive feature I've ever created, but it is getting rid of a lot of rubbish, and it has sunk, a couple of days since I've done it, it's sunk down quite a bit. I have seen birds popping around, and you can see the rain has actually shown that the spiders have started to come in, so at least some wildlife is using it already. So that's our hedge, or sometimes they call it fedge, but basically a dry hedge, way of getting rid of a lot of arising, without actually having to burn it or bring in heavy machine and take it away, and hopefully create a feature for wildlife. We'll keep an eye on it and keep you posted as to how it goes over the years.
Well, that's a great way to deal with your cuttings and clippings without having to hurt your back, hoisting it all into a dumpy bag and taking it down the tip. If you enjoyed that, do push subscribe. It means you're following us, no charge. Push the notification bell. Thanks so much for joining us here in Somerset. We've really, really enjoyed having you. Until next time.